90-Day Fiancé's Jasmine finally met Gino's new girlfriend, and I have strong feelings about his family setting it up. Warning! The following contains spoilers for the 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Episode. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Stream it with an HBO Max subscription and read at your own risk. We've known for quite a while that Jasmine Pineda and Gino Palazzolo were one of the latest 90-Day Fiancé couples to split after marriage, but that hasn't stopped it from becoming some of the most compelling drama in Happily Ever After. Season 9. That trend continued in the latest episode when Jasmine finally met Gino's girlfriend Natalie, but I can't help but question how it went down. Weeks after Gino told his soon-to-be ex-wife he wanted a divorce, he invited Natalie to Michigan to attend his cousin's birthday party. Admittedly, it might be the lamest way to highlight the fun of living in the Midwestern state, but what had me shaking my head is that his family decided to invite Jasmine for what became a heated event. Jasmine's arrival went exactly how we expected it to. If it wasn't painfully apparent that Natalie walked into a setup after listening to the wild line of questioning Gino's cousin had for the two of them, it should have been when Jasmine was already hurling insults at Natalie the second she walked in the door. She called her a stripper and a whore, and almost immediately, the two women started going at it. Natalie eventually walked out the door while Jasmine continued to scream whore as she exited. In her confession, Jasmine stated she had no idea she would react that way, but I find that incredibly hard to believe. 90-Day Fiancé fans knew this was coming because Jasmine has a pretty extensive history of causing a scene in tense moments, especially when cameras are rolling. She's had knockdown dragouts with Gino, threatened Natalie Mordovtseva, and even threw down with Rob Warren when she was pregnant. In fairness, that last fight took place after the battle with Gino's girlfriend was filmed, but I think everyone, including Gino's family, knew how this was going to go. Gino's family shouldn't have invited one or the other to the party. Breakups are tough, and I get there are times where everyone has to come together as adults and be there for the greater good. That said, this wasn't one of those times. Jasmine and Gino are in the midst of starting a divorce, months after he kicked her out of their home for her relationship with Matt Branisterianu, and he just brought his new girlfriend to meet the family for the first time. If anyone was convinced inviting them both would go smoothly, I'd be shocked. For that reason, I have to believe that 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Deliberately set this whole scene up specifically for entertainment value. In a rational world, either Jasmine would have opted not to go, or Gino would have decided he wouldn't attend. At the end of the day, we're talking about a random birthday dinner for an adult cousin. Not to call myself out too much here, but I can't remember the last time that I attended birthday festivities for any of my cousin's special days. HBO Max, plans start from $9.99 a month. 90-Day Fiancé has a streaming home on HBO Max. Pay $9.99 a month for its with ads plan, with 3 tiers available for an HBO Max subscription. You can also prepay for a year and save up to 20%. Part of me just wants to believe the whole thing was a scripted moment all 90-Day Fiancé participants were in on, because if not, I feel so bad for Natalie. She didn't ask to be pulled into any of this, and she didn't fly into Michigan on her dime to be called a whore in front of her boyfriend's entire family by High Wife. If my significant other set me up for something like that, I wouldn't be dating them anymore. We'll see if Natalie feels the same way as new episodes of 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Continue on TLC on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Catch up now on HBO Max, or just rewatch the wild showdown that went on during the Palazzolo family gathering. Mick Jost is a content producer for Cinema Blend with his hand in an eclectic mix of television goodness. Star Trek is his main jam, but he also regularly reports on happenings in the world of Star Trek, WWE, Doctor Who, 90-Day Fiancé, Quantum Leap, and Big Brother. He graduated from the University of Southern Indiana with a degree in journalism and a minor in radio and television. He's great at hosting panels and appearing on podcasts if given the chance as well. Gino's secret Vegas romance rocks 90-Day Fiancé with shocking blow-up and unhinged insult. 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Jasmine Pineda is known for her outbursts and, after believing her husband is breaking the rules of their open marriage, she's reached an all-time high after appearing on 90-Day. The last resort and agreeing to an open marriage, Gino Palazzolo and Jasmine seem to be in a worse position than when they first joined the series. Gino has now started pursuing a new love interest, Natalie, who he met in Vegas. Now he's invited her to a birthday party in Michigan to meet his family and things get heated to the point of a physical confrontation. How did the situation become so charged and lead to a moment where Jasmine ended up calling Natalie a W from Vegas and a prostitute? Jasmine believes Gino is breaking the rules of their 90-day open marriage. In the last resort, Jasmine pushed for an open marriage because she needed intimacy Gino wouldn't give her, which she ultimately sought in the arms of Matt Branisterianu. In fact, Jasmine and Matt welcomed the baby together in further complicating the situation. While Jasmine convinced Gino to agree to an open marriage, she quickly regretted it after learning he was talking to other women and in Vegas, according to his family. Jasmine claims in a confessional that Gino never discussed Natalie with her, so she was pissed. This also meant, in her eyes, Natalie was merely a mistress and Gino was cheating. The moment Jasmine appears on screen, she is clearly a woman on a mission and her confessionals seem to be full of rage. It's obvious just how badly she is dying to meet this be. Almost as soon as she enters the bar with Matt, the situation escalates. After she greets some of Gino's family, she turns to Natalie, asking if she was attending a birthday party or a stripper party. Natalie says it's a birthday party and Jasmine immediately claps back, asking why are we bringing them from Vegas? Jasmine's confrontation leads to a massive blowout. The situation quickly escalates as Gino tries to intervene and warns Jasmine to watch her mouth, but their argument doesn't end there. The encounter turns into a full-blown physical altercation with both women having to be restrained and Natalie being escorted out of the bar after Jasmine pushes her. Natalie storms out and Gino follows closely behind, but the damage seems to be done. Viewers see a Jasmine-like outburst from Natalie as she claims the altercation is all Gino's fault for not being clear with Jasmine in the first place. In all fairness, Jasmine has a valid point. The 90-day fiancé couples did agree together that they need to be on the same page about the person they want to bring into their marriage, and Gino didn't honor that part of the agreement. While he might try to argue that they separated, it certainly feels more of a cop-out. Gino's avoided his issues with Jasmine for the last several seasons, and even the therapists in the last resort thought it was weird that Gino would rather give into an open marriage that he was adamantly against instead of working on their relationship so they could be intimate again. Nonetheless, it's ironic how Gino's finding himself in this type of situation again. Once again, his lies have caught up to him, but this time it's not just Jasmine who's catching on. Natalie seems ready to end her role in the relationship as well. 90-day fiancé, are Gino and Natalie still together? Latest updates after Jasmine fight. Gino entered the 90-day fiancé universe with Jasmine Pineda at his side. However, during their appearance on 90-day, the last resort, the couple made it clear that their relationship was not as strong as fans had hoped, leading them to open their marriage. On 90-day fiancé, happily ever after, Gino finally dropped the news that he wanted a divorce from Jasmine so that he could pursue a relationship with his new girlfriend, Natalie. Seeing as Gino's family was still close with his then-wife, they couldn't help but mention that Gino's new connection looked almost exactly the same as Jasmine. Gino even confessed, "I look at Natalie, and she looks like Jasmine." Episode 6 of 90-day fiancé, Happily Ever After, we're taking a deeper look into Gino's new relationship and how it was impacted by Natalie and Jasmine's first meeting. Scroll to find out if Gino and Natalie are still together, how they met, and more. Are Gino and Natalie still together? It appears that Gino and Natalie are on good terms, but may no longer be together. During Natalie's trip to visit Gino in Michigan, she made it clear that his situation with Jasmine was too messy for her to get involved. Upon a fiery first meeting with Jasmine, Natalie told him, "One thing I'm not going to do is take disrespect. I come here, and I'm treated like I'm a criminal." She proceeded to blame Gino for Jasmine's behavior towards her because Gino had not made his intention to start a relationship with Natalie clear to Jasmine from the get-go. "Well, this is what happens, Gino, when you don't make it clear." Natalie explained, "That's on you, 100%. I'm here to tell you, you let that happen." Ultimately, Natalie told Gino that his relationship with Jasmine was disgusting before telling him, "To be honest with you, I don't want any part of it." Gino currently follows Natalie on Instagram, but he has only posted one picture with Natalie to celebrate the Season 9 premiere of 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? On July 6th, and the photo was clearly taken during winter. How did Gino and Natalie meet? Gino and Natalie met online before their first IRL meeting in Las Vegas, Nevada. At the time, Gino and Jasmine were in an open relationship that he had not previously acted on. Learning that Gino was in an open marriage and intending to get a divorce, Natalie told him, "It's very important for me if you want to continue seeing me, that you have an in-person conversation with Jasmine and M. Make it clear to her there's no longer a chance for reconciliation. Did Jasmine and Natalie get into a fight? Yes, Jasmine and Natalie got into a verbal and physical fight during the August 10th episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? At a birthday party for one of Gino's relatives. Upon entering, Jasmine asked the room, "So, is this a birthday party or a stripper party?" She then turned to Gino and said, "Why are we bringing the whores from Vegas?" From there, Jasmine shoved Natalie, who pushed back. The two were separated before their fight escalated. Jasmine told producers, "When I entered the room, no one could have ever prepared me for the way I felt. I'm seeing this woman side by side to my husband, laughing and smiling with my family. And the anger that possessed my body at that moment was like a demon." 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Season 9, Sundays at 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Season 9 episode SIXS fight is so wild it feels scripted. The only interesting moment from the 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Season 9 trailer finally aired, and honestly, it did not disappoint. We've been waiting weeks for this train wreck to pull into the station, and the messiness was chef's kiss. 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Season 9 Episode 6 was otherwise another nap-inducing slog until the fight heard round the bar broke out and reminded us why this franchise is still the king of reality TV chaos. We've been building toward this inevitable showdown between the two women in Gino's orbit, his still wife Jasmine and his shiny new love interest Natalie. And Gino? My guy. What exactly did you think was going to happen when you invited your current flame to a family event you knew your ex would be attending? Did you think they'd braid each other's hair and swap recipes? Last week, Gino practically had "Let's make Natalie look better than Jasmine" written on his forehead. And now, Jasmine's supposed to be fine watching him play doting boyfriend? She's still wearing her wedding ring, so of course she's going to have feelings about this. But let's be real, she aimed all that fury at the wrong target. 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Season 9 is a mess. If Jasmine had walked in, smiled sweetly, and introduced herself to Natalie, she would have looked like the bigger person and Gino would have been the one sweating bullets. But Jasmine doesn't do subtle. Instead, she went from zero to banshee in 0.3 seconds. We're talking screaming expletives, accusing Natalie of being a sex worker, and then lunging like this was a UFC undercard. The producers didn't even need to add dramatic music, it was pure chaos. Poor Dana got caught in the crossfire, shoved to the ground while trying to break it up. This bar was basically one spilled drink away from a full-blown WWE SmackDown. And the bar patrons? Cheering. Like they were at a championship fight. Jasmine basked in the applause while Natalie was pushed outside and was left trying to figure out what alternate reality she had just walked into. Meanwhile, Gino the human beige sweater stayed inside. Didn't follow Natalie out. Didn't defend her. Just stood there, sipping his drink like he was watching sports highlights. When he finally did go outside, it was only because someone prompted him. Natalie was humiliated, and the man who brought her there couldn't even muster the decency to walk her out himself. But here's the thing, Gino's been making women look foolish for years, so Natalie might want to save herself the trouble and cut her losses now. From the look on her face at the end of the episode, she might already be there. The whole Natalie arc screams manufactured storyline. The producers realized Gino and Jasmine can't quit each other, so they brought in Natalie to keep the mess going. Respect the hustle, but it's giving soap opera. Gino needs to grow a backbone. Next week promises Gino getting verbally demolished by Matt, which I'm here for, but let's not pretend this love triangle isn't just a messy square. Now that we know Jasmine ends up having Matt's baby away from bar fight, we checked in with Kara and Guillermo, and oh boy, their marriage is hanging on by a single thread. Guillermo skipped Kara's big performance, which was basically her last hope for some grand romantic gesture. Instead, he stayed away, still bitter about being told to leave their marital home. Kara, honey, when you ask someone to pack up and go, it's generally not the best precursor to a reconciliation. That's not "we just need space," that's "this is over, please collect your belongings." Neither of them seems interested in putting in the work. They're equally stubborn, equally salty, and equally exhausting to watch. At this point, co-parenting their son peacefully would be a bigger win than pretending they're still in love. But no, instead, we're stuck watching them glare at each other in alternating scenes while the producers scramble to make their storyline matter. And honestly, that's this whole season in a nutshell. 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Used to be about actual relationship drama. Now it's about who can stage the most chaotic fight for the cameras. The cast is clearly competing for screen time. The storylines feel they were pitched in a production meeting, and the magic is slipping away still. I can't lie, I'll be seated for next week. Because if Jasmine can pull off this level of chaos in a bar, imagine what she'll do in a living room face-off. So, what do we think, friends? Did Jasmine go nuclear too quickly? And was Gino's decision to stay inside during the fight the final nail in the coffin for his relationship with Natalie? What's your take on the way everyone treated Natalie? Do you think Cara should have expected Guillermo at her performance after what happened between them? Hit the comments. I'll be here with popcorn.